December 30th, 2025. Calvin Castine, welcome to the Village of Rouses Point. We're doing our tour of the Village of Rouses Point. Judy is at the wheel. She'd much rather be sitting at home and watching soap operas. But she's volunteered. It's 11-degree temperature. We're going to take a right here on Trahan Drive. We're coming into the village here on Champlain Street, and Rouses Point has so many dead ends that it's going to be a challenge to get some streets. We're not going to get every street, obviously. We're doing our look at the end of the first quarter-century view of Rouses Point. We did the town of Champlain. Later on today we'll be doing the village of Champlain. As we take the corner here at Trahan Drive, and this is, we'll go around here and we'll make a turnaround and come back. We won't be heading out to places like Phillips Avenue or Rock Street or some of the other side streets here. Each of these little areas that grew up within the village kind of grew up on their own. There was no real municipal plan, so even though there might be a street just a few hundred feet away parallel to it, there's nothing tying them in, so there's a lot of dead ends, so to speak, throughout the village, particularly in the section that was developed in the last 70 years or so. We're going to come to a stop sign and take a right up here. The wind chill makes it probably well below zero outside. A very nasty day to be out there. We're doing this so that 25, 50, 100 years from now, people can see what the village looked like after the first quarter century. We're going to come out now onto Lake Street or Route 9B, and we're going to find a way to turn our vehicle around and head back from whence we came. As you can see, it's a good sheet of ice out there. So we're going to head back onto Myers Street now. We'll be making our way down Lake Street a little bit later in our trip. We had temperatures that shot up to mid to upper 30s yesterday. Had some rain, had a lot of snow melt. We'll take a left here rather than go up there to take a mid turnaround. See the back of the 260 Lake Street, former nursing home, now a senior residence. So a lot of ice and a lot of driveways. The snow is all crusty right now. Nothing soft about any of the snowbanks you're looking at. So it went from upper 30s yesterday down to close to zero overnight. So a big fast drop and a lot of flash freezing overnight in this year 2025. I don't really have a game plan as far as all the streets we're going to cover and which order we're going to cover them, but we will conclude this video for those of you who may have seen the three-part tour of the town of Champlain, you're going to find this hard to believe, but my driver, Judy, told me she was bored driving around. So hopefully it'll be more exciting here with all the twists and turns here in the village. And let's see, we'll catch that next portion on our way back. We'll take a right here. Head down, and we're going to have to do another U-turn down by the corner of Lake Street again. So there's Phillips, says dead end on it. There's actually a street that comes out that's just a few feet away from intersecting with it, but for some reason or another, it's never intersected. So we're going to go down here to where the former Saxony Lounge remnants still exist. There's Bennett's auto next to it. And we're going to make the turnaround here at Rabideau, long-time Stewart's, and of course, for many years, Racine's Garage. I think Tim Lindcourt was in here for a while, and Rodney Racine moved back in for the family. So we'll go up as far as the turn. That'll take us past the former Wyeth facility. Heading past Maple Street, heading past Elm Street, Angelo's restaurant, popular spot to have a bite. Their buffets are pretty popular right now. O'Reilly Auto Parts, been here a few years, and his next business is for sale. Many years it was a pharmacy. Dan Mosley, and we got the Richard Foreman's dentistry. This here was, I think, Lakeside, or I can't remember the exact, when Dale Menard had it here, a little corner business right here. And then across the road, since we probably won't be coming back this way, we'll show the Albert Carrier Apartments. Move back on this side. And we got Priscilla Lane. Parking area for what was Wyeth Harris property. We got the water tower. Little bumpy ice on the road here, so that's why the camera's bouncing up and down. And here's where that parking was, and straight ahead if we went straight ahead. Part of that former Wyeth Harris complex. Parking lot on that side, nothing on the other side. We won't be coming back this street, so if a side's going to be developed, it'll probably be on our left side here. Again, it's wide open over here. Both sides are wide open. There is that large building that's still standing, but 90% of the buildings were taken down. Got the ball field here for part of the school, Rouses Point Elementary. no school, of course, this week. You can see the ice on the driveway. Custodians are working hard to get rid of that ice. So we're going to take a right here onto Maple Street, then do our famous U-turn and come back this way. No, we're going to go down to the end and then do a U-turn. But we're going to go, I think we'll turn on to Elm. There's the school. When we get to Elm, we'll take a turn there. Only recently that the stop sign went up here. That's mainly to slow traffic down. We will take a right here. I debated whether to do this or not because I think we got two dead-end streets right here. Take a right onto Pineview. As Elm takes a 90-degree turn. So we got two dead-end streets. We'll go to Beechwood. And again, this doesn't wrap around, doesn't give you a chance to make a circle. Each of these side streets, as I said, developed on their own and not part of an overall village plan. So I'm sure it makes it a lot quieter for the neighborhood, but you don't get as much through traffic as you would otherwise. There should be a snowplow turnaround here when we get to the end. Let's see if Judy's qualified to drive a snowplow here. And you see the water tower through the light there. Looks like the village has been bringing. Where are you going? Going bringing their spare twigs down here. If you look across, you can see the next street over. And again, these don't tie in. So these are streets that probably most people never have a reason to wander down, unless you're specifically coming to see somebody on one of these streets. We're back on Pineview, and we'll go to the end of that one, this one, and do the same. And once again, we come to a turnaround. No trespassers. Violators will be prosecuted, so putting ourselves at risk of being prosecuted here by making this turnaround. And there's the part that we saw adjacent to the Wyeth parking lot. We got some ash trees that are marked that will be coming down sometime this winter. We'll take a right when we come off here, off Pine View. And we'll go down Priscilla. This street named for Priscilla Menard, Francis Menard's wife. Menards did most, if not all, the construction here. But he tied it in with the rest of the community here. When we get to the end, we'll be near the housing, carrier apartments. When we get to the end of this street, and we'll do a U-turn and come back. We're back at Academy. Almost enough room to make a U-turn, but not quite enough. And we'll go all the way back to Elm, and then we'll go to the end of Elm and turn around, come back, head back to Maple. So that former pharmacy building is for sale. It's in the back of where we are right now. It is for sale. It's unfortunate that the Bosleys had to close both of their pharmacies, this one and the one in Keysville. And he's still a pharmacist, so Dan's still working, but still the local pharmacies are getting harder and harder to find. We're waiting for traffic. So we'll go to the end of Elm. I'll shut the camera off and we'll find a way to come back and be heading the other direction. Trahan construction signs are still up. take a right. I'm trying to remember the name of the store that was at that corner. I think Manette's family owned it. It was on the corner of Elm here and Maple for many years. The Gaudets were the last ones to operate it. It was a very popular little spot for a while. So now we come to that decision, do we turn around, head down back to Maple, or do we, I don't know, keep going, and my brain was still working here. And I think rather than skip something, we'll turn around. All right, turning back onto Maple Street and heading north. If we don't make it down your favorite street, our apologies. We'll continue all the way to Pratt Street on this trip. Lots of stop signs. When I first started coming to Rouses Point, Maple Street was a street that the locals would take. And instead of going 30 on Lake Street, you'd go 35 here on Maple and no stop signs and make good time. But the village elders wised up and realized that for safety reasons should be putting up some stop signs and lowered the speed limit to 25. And we're at the Chapman Street intersection. We'll go all the way to Pratt, as I said. That 11-degree temperature hasn't budged yet. And we'll take a left here on Pratt as we go by State Street. Okay. The Hutchison Pontiac building is still here. Obviously apartments in there now. So when we get up to the Bayshard Drive there, we'll take a right there just to show the senior housing. Manor Drive and Bayshard Senior Housing. We'll just do a spin through their parking lot. When we do the Village of Champlain, we'll see the first senior housing that came to the northern tier back in the late 70s. Not quite sure when this Bayshard one was completed. But these senior housing projects in Moores, Champlain, and Rouses Point have added a lot of options, and it sounds like we got a train coming through. So we're gonna come out here and see if we can get. Oh yeah, the train's parked right there. Amtrak. We'll see if they're blocking the tracks. If they're blocking the tracks, we'll keep going. If not, we'll turn right and cross the tracks. Looks like the tracks are clear.
No.
Oh, no. No, they're, well, let's go up there and watch the train go through. Great museum here that they've got going here, Rouses Point History and Welcome Center. Great museum. A lot of people put a lot of effort into keeping that going, and isn't this nice? We get to see the Amtrak. Bob, Ben, and I got to ride in the engine of the Amtrak 30 years or so ago. We were doing a story on the Rouses Point railroading, and somewhere on my videos there's a video taken from the front of the train all the way from Rouses Point to Plattsburgh. So this is a little unexpected added addition that makes a nice little addition to our program today. Couldn't have timed it any more perfectly. Good driving there, Judy. Continue now. We'll take a right when we get to the end of Pratt here. Right on to 276. And the village only continues for a little while. Ways here. I'm not sure. We were here when we did the town of Champlain tour. And it doesn't seem to be an actual sign to tell us when we're no longer in the village, but I know it's right around here by Eric Richards' area. So we're going to assume we have now left the village, so we're going to turn around and come back into the village. Yeah, after a quick turnaround, we're heading back, and we'll turn on to Pratt, go down Pratt. Grass-fed beef right there at Eric Richards. Does his tree cutting business. And of course we got the St. Patrick's Cemetery here in the back. So we turn back onto Pratt. I'm going to go down on Pratt all the way down to Lake. Benny Arno and his Ben and Brenda and Matt, and they've done a nice job there. Matt Arno, he did a nice job. I think it was Hotel Montgomery. Montgomery Hotel, I think, was the name of the hotel that was there many years. A lot of hotels in Rouses Point because of the heavy train traffic. Going by American Legion, now a very, very popular spot. Not just for the veterans, but for everyone. And we'll take a left here. One of the dollar stores is in there. It doesn't come to mind. Dollar General. Grand Union was in there for a good number of years before they left town. The Key Bank was in there right next door to them. And we got a big truck coming this way, so we'll let this guy come through here. One thing about the streets of Rouses Point, they still got a lot of heavy traffic. When we get to the village, no, another truck coming. When we get to the village of Champlain, two more trucks coming here. We'll see that don't get this kind of traffic through there anymore. Champlain used to be even more so because it was downtown. Yep, after this guy we can go. Downtown was Route 9 and Route 11 both. So we're going by some businesses there, some winter boat storage here from one of the marinas, and that's Rouses Point Civic Center. Got a place here where you can drop off your used clothing, help support the summer concerts in the park. Okay, we're going to take a right here, but I was going to go up to the, no, up next one. Yeah. I was going to go up past the border and not go into Canada, but I don't know what the turnaround situation will be, so I decided not to do it because the border station here is a ways from the actual border. There's a new station coming up here as we look at Best Friends Diner, another popular spot. So I thought about doing that, but I decided against it. So we're not going to cross then come back because I don't know with the snow and ice how our turning around in the middle of the road would work out, because I don't want to go into Canada. But I did want to include a shot of that area before the new border station is put up. This is apartments now. This was the AmCan. The Wrights had that for many years. We're going to make a turnaround here at the edge of the street here and just do a left turnaround as we approach the Korean Veterans Memorial Bridge and the lake front here. Down that away there is an area where there's a historic marker and the Border Patrol gets. Of course, Fort Montgomery is in the distance behind us, and we're heading back up where we come. Welcome to the Village of Rouses Point. There's a PowerTex complex. Most of this is in the village, but some of the back property, I believe, is outside the village limits. And we're going to come up to the border, to the end of this road. Border to our right and downtown to our left. Okay, we are back and heading down Lake Street. I don't know if I showed the garage over there. I've got a business over here. I went by Rose Avenue here and I didn't mention the garage. For years it was known as Bardall's. I don't know who's in there now. Is it Favreau? Yeah, Brent Favreau. sticks and stuff. That was Shazy Hardware for many years. Gino's Pizza, that's open different times. Fire station. Next is Connie Yanktail. My wife Judy grew up in that house right there. Now we're back to that Dollar General at the intersection of Pratt. So we're going to go down Lake to the end and turn around, come back and figure out what else we're going to do at this end. Myers Buildings, Ray's Appliances here. There's where Hank Till's restaurant was, and now Frenchie's. It was different names at different times. North Countryman was there, went out the corner right there. Jackie's Ceramics. So many businesses here. This was what was that? It was a laundry, but it was, I think it was another building business before that, but may have always been a laundry. Here's St. Patrick's Church, passing the rectory. Dodge Memorial Library. They have their summer sales there in the summer with fresh produce. Going by former Anchorage Motel, a favorite place for so many people. Now just a shadow of what it once was. Great restaurant. I'm not sure if the Pods are still here. It was the Casey House for many years, a very prominent stone house here in the Village of Rouses Point. There's where Montpelier's cabins used to be. Back when there was more traffic through here. Casa Capitano is here. Marabito is there. I think that's how you pronounce it. Another view of the Saxony. I was also pronouncing that Mirabito, but somebody told me it was Marabito. And a former nursing home. It was 250 Lake Street was a bed and breakfast for a while. 260 is a, whoa, Canadian in a hurry here. Passing us in double solid line, and Judy is going 30 miles an hour. This was the uptown area back in the mid-1800s. This is where the rich people lived, up this neck of the woods. So we're going to go just a little ways past the Smith Street, and then we'll turn around and come back. But somewhere out here is the village limits. Turn around right here. Unfortunately, we don't have any bottles to redeem. Alright, now heading back into the village. By Stony Point Road, where the Edgewater is. Breakwater is out there, a sign welcoming you to the village. My old pal Luella Papin and her husband Joe lived out there at the Stony Point for many years. She was the editor of the North Countryman. Highly respected lady and well liked. The air has gotten cold. But we had that little short stretch of warm weather yesterday, so I would use caution going out on the lake. Coming up to where the log cabin motel used to be, now the Mossies own this, and they are really turning it into something. Looking forward to taking a tour of those little buildings they're putting up for tourists. That old stone building has been there forever. At one time, there has an actual spur of the railroad that ran right alongside the lake here. And they did a lot of shipping and stuff out of there. Rouses Point, because of its lake proximity, and the railroads came in here, and it was a very, very busy hub for a great many years. And that 11-degree temperature we had has now dropped to 10. Get to Montgomery Street, we'll head down that way. We'll continue our view along the lake. And the former Gaines Marina. Still a very popular marina. It's called Safe Harbor Gaines now. Safe Harbor Gaines Marina. And there's a gazebo by the village office. The village water plant, I think, is there. There's a village office for Rouses Point. Sandy's Deli, still going strong. A place called Rouses Point Yacht Club. They got apartments through here. There used to be a lot of stores through here. Still some businesses that are operating and doing well. We're going down Montgomery. The pharmacy used to be Eldridge Pharmacy. I used to be right on that corner there. The Harrisons had the pharmacy for many years, and then Bosley's had the last pharmacy here in Rouses Point. It's a nice little area they've tried to develop and give the community something to look forward to. Got the Sportsman's Pier. And my membership's about to run out. I got to renew that every year. So I have to get my 2026 membership very close, slowly. Here's some markers, historic markers, a historic part of here, a lot of historic panels there. A yacht marina here. We got Lighthouse Point Marina, I guess it's called. Blub's Grocery, excuse me, what did he call that? What was Blub's restaurant called? I can't remember. Howard Lamberton had we're going straight. Howard Lamberton had a restaurant in there for a while. Latitude 45. Another little restaurant bar in the area. Latitude 45, of course, somewhere in this vicinity is where latitude 45 is, and that's, as we mentioned in one of our previous videos, the midway point between the North Pole and the equator. There's a Veterans Bridge, Korean Veterans Bridge in the distance. We're going to turn around here and head back from whence we came. Actually, let's cross the bridge. We shouldn't do a look at Rouses Point without looking at Fort Montgomery. So I'm going to shut the camera off as soon as we get on top of the bridge. Looks like nobody is living on the island right now out there. We got an island out here with 3 trees on it. Looks like nobody's living on it. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. And it'll be a challenge to, there we go, see it with a moving car, trying to keep it in focus, but there it is, Fort Montgomery. It's not in the village limits, but still closely associated with the village of Rouses Point. It's actually in the town of Champlain. We considered going across the border, but we stopped before we went because I wanted to get a shot, as I mentioned before, of the area where the new construction is going to be for the new border station. But the person at the window told me there's about a 45-minute wait right now coming back in. There's a lot of traffic heading south today. A lot of Canadians heading south on this last couple days of December 2025. So crossing into we went across as far as going into Canada, but making the turnaround and coming back, we'd still have to stop at the border check-in, and we'd have a 45-minute wait. So we're going to take a left here onto Montgomery Street when we get there. Then we'll head down Rose Avenue, back and forth onto Rose Avenue. You're watching the 2025 tour of some of Rouses Point as it completes the first quarter century of the 21st century. Again, we're not going to be able to do every little side street, but we'll get a good portion of Rouses Point to show what the village looked like at this point in time. Marina storing boats. Marina is a very important part of the business here in Rouses Point. Christmas decorations are still plenty, and this day, which is 5 days after Christmas. And when we get to the end of Rose Avenue, we'll do that famous U-turn and come back the other way. It's called Evolution Customs. Evolution Customs. Okay, Evolution Customs. Betty's Chicken Galore used to be right there where Pam was pointing. Her Abidu family. They used to have a big chicken out there. And that was another popular little spot to hang out and have a meal. Let's see a name to this little facility here. Similar to a nursing home, but I'm not quite sure what the name of it is or what its official title is. That rooster you see right there was not Betty's Chicken Galore. That was much bigger than that. We can see the back of the park here. That's a rec center, civic center. Behind his houses here on Rose Avenue. It's right in their backyard. So they want to let the kids and grandkids out to play. Just send them out in their backyard. You got the whole Rouses Point Civic Center playground area. We're going to our right since we've already been to our left. Back here, a nice view. Barcomb's Marina office is off to the back. Mott Marina is in this area too somewhere. We'll come to the Veterans Memorial Park here in Rouses Point, attached to the Civic Center grounds. And you got more yacht club, marina stuff going on. And you got the Bell Cam, I think it's called now. It used to be Delagar. I believe it's called Bell Cam now. The business has been here in town a long time. The Bellum family, very much part of that initially. We're going to go up State Street as we get to the end of Montgomery here. And of course right here in this corner was the Hotel Holland. Gone but not forgotten. Building. Dr. Sclair was here. Press Republic, the North Countryman was back there back in the days before I started working for them. Al Ryan had a press there for a while too. Just go straight through here. I'll let the record show Judy is obeying all stop signs and speed limit signs. We're going up State Street. We did this tour a quarter century ago, and I think it was Ryan Jefferson as we come by the Arnold House here, crossing the tracks. I think it was Brian Jefferson that was with us taking that tour. Brian's in California right now, so he wasn't available today. So we're going to take a right. We're going to go up and down Church Street here. And the church, of course, comes out at the corner of Pratt, and 276 is straight ahead of us. So once again, we'll make a U-turn and head back from whence we came. And again, the cemetery is back there. So we're going to go down to the Prospect Hill Road, Chapman, and take a right. That sun is really shining now for any shots we're shooting in that direction. Taking a right here onto Chapman Street. And the village ends right about here is where the end of the village is. So we'll turn around here and head back on the Pillsbury Street or whatever it's called. Champlain Plastics is down there, and they are hiring, it says. If you're looking for a job, Champlain Plastics here in Rouses Point. Can pay, I'm not sure what they pay, but I know the minimum wage come January 1st is going to be $17 an hour. We're going to go straight down Chapman by the busy area that got a tour of many years ago. It's on our video. On our YouTube channel. We're very fortunate to get several Rouses Point Railroad videos done at an opportune time. I'm going to take a right here. But I do want to include our friends at Border Press in this video. Take a right. This is Clinton Street, I think it's called. And we'll turn around at the just beyond Border Press here. We'll take a turn around. Tragic fire here a couple of weeks ago. It could have been more tragic, but the lady in the home was rescued by Dan Rochester and Don Favreau and Randy Gay and I think it's Lee Yell. That sound right? Lee O'Neill, excuse me. Lee O'Neill. Go straight. Lee O'Neill. So they went into that burning building through the heavy smoke and saved her as the firefighters were arriving. So we're going to go down as far as Maple and turn around, come back. We're at the end of Clinton. And here's the Champlain Learning Center. Great addition to the North Country. The former school building here. St. Patrick's School, is that correct, Judith? She went to there as a youngster. What's that?
The convent.
And the convent in the building right next to it. But the Children's Learning Center, great place for people to get babysitting so they can work and know their kids are in good hands. We're back on Delaware. I'm going to take a right here and then continue down Chapman when we get there. I guess we're not going down Chapman. We're going to go on Washington.
Unless you want to go down it.
Okay, so we are going down Chapman after all. It's up to you. She's tooting. A very friendly driver right here. We'll go all the way down to Lake Street and turn around. It was a lot easier in the town. We could make big loops and didn't have to do so many U-turns. Crossing on to the area where the post office is. busy as it used to be. And then we're coming to that area where the laundromat is, and we'll make a turn here and head back up. And I cannot remember the name of the hardware store that was in there before the laundromat came in. There's a Rouse Park. So we're back here on Chapman, heading west. We're going to go up, keep going, past Maple. Go up as far as Church, then from Church we'll turn back onto Pratt. Well, actually, since we're here, we're going to take a right. Since there's a church on Washington, we're going to go down Washington. And yes, this is where Washington crosses the Delaware right here. Washington Street crosses the Delaware, so I'm going to go down here this way and come back and show the church. Churches are important parts of our community, and when we're only a stone's throw away, we certainly should make the effort to include them in our tour. But again, we can't do every building. When we leave here, we're heading for Champlain Village. And in the meantime, my wife's getting a call, so we're going to take that call, and we'll be turning around. Okay, we've made the turn. Handle the phone call. More Christmas decorations coming up. And we're coming up to the First Presbyterian Church of Rouses Point. I used to love coming to their cantatas here back when Reverend Wu and his wife were around. Okay, we're going to take a left here rather than go up to a dead end. Okay, we're taking a right. No, we're taking a left. We're taking a left. We're taking a left. We're not going to go down all the way through Delaware. We're going to take a right here, back onto Chapman. And from Chapman, we'll be going back to Pratt. I should have left some crumbs behind so I could remember where we've been. I'll be crossing the railroad tracks shortly. And turning on to Church Street, and then from Church we'll head down to Pratt. No, State. We're going to State. Excuse me, we came up State. I remember now. So we're going to turn onto State Street. And not sure if the hair salon is open right now or not. Got that flagpole there that was donated to Louis Landry, sitting in their yard there. Veterans flagpole. crossing the Delaware again. And from State, we'll head down to Lake. Once we cross Maple Street, we'll be just a stone's throw away from the Alexander House location. Alexander House was a very, very popular place in the 60s and I believe into the 70s. And it's hard to believe that there's a footprint is enough there for that location. Alright, I think we're taking a right here. Again, we got heavy traffic. Okay, we are turning the corner again where the Hotel Holland used to be, where the liquor store is now. The bowling alley was here for a good number of years, and O'Connor's turned it into a liquor store, and it's still being operated as a liquor store. And we've got the back of there was the Rutland lot, the softball field. Where a lot of youngsters played, and even the men's softball team played. Dollar General was there, and we're gonna take a left here. And head down to the end of as far as Academy, I guess, because I think we've gotten the rest of it from Academy on. Crossing Washington and coming up to Chapman. Going by the Learning Center. And where the Wyeth Harris facility was, Harris, McKenna, and Harrison. And we'll keep going straight by the Rouses Point Elementary School. And I know we've been by here because we stopped here at the corner of Elm and Maple before, so we're going to decide where we're heading from here. We are back on Lake and making a turn here onto Edgewater Drive. This is another one of those self-contained communities that I'm going to take a left here. That street clearly says dead end on it. Let the record show that that was Judy sneezing. She's allergic to long trips. And we're going to keep going here. It says Woodhaven to our right. I think we're going to run out of street here. We'll see. And, you know, we can do a loop, so we're going to do a loop. Again, these are streets, unless you know somebody. They're not through streets, so you're not going to drive through here heading for somewhere else. There's a curve there ahead, Judy. Take a left. If you become a EMT or firefighter in Rouses Point, you better study your map good. And I think we just came off Lakeview, so we're heading back now to Lake Street, Route 9B, and Lake Champlain. I'm going to take a right, pick up on Smith. Turning now onto Smith Street. We're going to go to the end and decide on our way back which street, if any, we'll turn off on. You got Beacon Heights. I think that's the only turnoff, I think. But then there might be some turnoffs off Beacon Heights. Again, this is December 30th, 2025. Oh, I'm wrong. There's another turnoff here. It's called Kavanaugh Drive. So we're getting near the end of Smith Street, and the western portion, western couple houses on the end are out of the village limits. So we're going to go to the end and turn around and head back. This stone house is for sale at the moment. I'm sure it's been here for a decade or two. Alright, so we're heading back the other way now. There are the Duffys here. To that stone house is the Smith house. It's established in 1820. So that's who the Smith Street is named after, obviously. We're going to come up here, and since I graduated with a fella named Bobby Kavanaugh, and I knew his father Frank very well, I think we'll head down Kavanaugh Drive just to be polite. Oakwood Townhouse is down there. That's Oakwood Townhouse Community. We did a video there at one time. So there's quite a few different places to live back there. It's a nice little area. I'm going to take that turn here on Kavanaugh Drive. Don't think we can get a view of Oakwood from here too well. We'll be going to our right. Again, there's a lot of there's Mountain View. A lot of places we're not going to see here. Apologize. It's 3:43. We've got an hour of sunlight left, and I want to get to the Village of Champlain because it's December 30th, and I got a full day of stuff tomorrow. Very interesting presentation going to be made. On the afternoon of December 31st, and I want to make sure to record that. So we're going to go to the lake, and we're going to pick up as we head out of town on Champlain Street. I don't know which way we're going, dear. You're going to tell me. You're driving. Go straight. I see the lake ahead of us here. We'll see what's ahead of us here.
There's no way to it.
Okay, just like it's a turnaround. There we go. As I said, if you're a firefighter here or EMT, you better get your bearings in Rouses Point, because each of these little subdivisions were laid out on their own, and you can't always get here or there from here. So we're going to take a left here, and that'll take us back to the lake. One more left up ahead, and we'll be back on the end of where Smith Street meets Lake Street. As soon as we take a left. So if we missed your house, we apologize. But feel free to grab your camera and do a video. There's Stony Point Road. We'll be heading left when we get off here, but I'll shut the camera off. So we're turning on to Champlain Street, and we'll be ending this when we get to the railroad tracks. So there's was a Fountain House for many years. Used to be a church there next to them, where the Duffys are now, I believe the house is. So we already passed, did some of this when we came off of Elm Street and Priscilla Lane, so we won't be recapping what we're looking at. We're going to thank you for watching, and for the very few of you who support our efforts. It's June 7th, 1983. We've been trying to bring you the best of our North Country, Northern Tier area. We hope to do it into the foreseeable future. So 42.5 years and counting. Thanks for watching and supporting viewer-supported local television, hometown cable TV, worthy of your support.